Hello, welcome. Today we're going to be doing an archer guide. So, yeah. So, to start things off, if you're beginning an archer, and this setup will only last you till floor 3, because floor 4 above, you will not get into any good parties, or you will just get kicked, because you're just a dupe archer. For floor 1 to floor 3, I'd recommend using 3/4 adaptive armor. Oh. Yeah, right over here. As you can see from the piece bonuses, it gives an extra stat to a specific class, so it's pretty good for every single class. Or you could use something such as superior dragon armor or strong dragon armor, because they did remove the requirements to use them in the catacombs, so you can dungeonize them. For the weapon, I'd recommend using only one boomerang. Boomerangs are completely destroyed, and they were once the best archer weapon, but now they're completely irrelevant. They will only last you till floor 3, so I'd recommend getting a 4/4 completion so you can play some floor 3 until you can upgrade to this. This bow, it will last you till master mode floor 3. This bow will be the one and only JUJU bow. This JUJU bow is insanely cheap right now, being only at 19 million coins, and requiring only Enderman Slayer 3. Enderman Slayer 3 is completely easy. It will only take you an hour if you can one-shot the Void Gloom tier 1s. It will only take 50 Void Gloom tier 1s. And as you can see, I am still using the JUJU bow to this day, because it's a really good weapon. This will last you from floor 4 to all the way to master mode floor 3. For floor 7, I'd recommend using for floor 5 first, let's do floor 5 first, of course. So for floor 5 and floor 4 to floor 5 to floor 6, I'd recommend using the Shadow Assassin armor. So you could also substitute the chestplate with a Zombie Knight chestplate, because the chestplate is a little too expensive. So I'd recommend using 3/4 Shadow Assassin and a Zombie Knight chestplate. You can also substitute the helmet for a tower helm, or the golden head, depending on what floor you're playing. So as you can see, I'm playing floor 5, so I have the golden livid head. For floor 7 and above, I'd recommend using the Necron armor. This is apparently the best armor for pure damage. I don't know if Frozen Blaze is better, but I did the testing, and Frozen Blaze is better than Necron for pure damage, but you'll be barely getting any EHP in Frozen Blaze. So I recommend substituting the helmet for a golden Necron head, and you can also substitute the Necron boots for some Maxer boots for extra speed. What I'd recommend is to use the Maxer boots for clear, and then swap to the Necron boots once you're in the boss fight. The Necron set will be your permanent set, so yeah. Or an alternative option is to use 3/4 Frozen Blaze and a golden head, and then a Blaze pet. I wouldn't really recommend using Frozen Blaze, because you are forced to use the Blaze pet, where it would such as Necron armor. You can use any kind of pet for this. So you can use a Wither Skeleton, an E-Drag, a Skeleton pet, literally any kind of pet. But with Frozen Blaze, you're pet locked. What that means, you can't switch pets, or else this armor set is completely dead. I recommend getting the legendary one, because as you can see, it doubles the effects of hot potato books. So if you had a fully hot potato book JUJU bow with fumings, it would be giving 60 strength and 60 damage. But if you only had the normal hot potato books, you would be getting 40. Okay. The epic blaze pet is still decent if you are going to be missing out on some damage and some health. Frozen Blaze is kind of comparable to using Necron, but only Necron gives more EHP, as you can see. For the master mode guide, I'd recommend from floor 1 to floor 3 in the master mode, you can still use your JUJU bow, but it's recommended you get a Terminator. Terminator is very cracked for clear, and yeah, it's literally pretty cracked. For M4 above, you're literally forced to use Terminator. Like, you can't use a JUJU bow unless you're like really high kata, which you're probably not. So I'd recommend using 3/4 Necron, and a Terminator. I'd recommend a suspicious Scylla, because of the amount of healing it gives. Because as you can see, Wither Impact gives like a bunch of healing. Here, so as you can see, Scylla, let's pull it up real quick. So Scylla is the Necron blade that gives the most crit damage. Combine that with the Suspicious Reforged, which gives the most crit damage out of everything. As you can see from, let's pull out the Wither Shield scroll. So as you can see, Wither Shield depends on healing. It heals you depending on how much crit damage you have. So the amount of healing you get from the Scylla, it's pretty cracked. But you can survive Master Mode Floor 4 with only a Terminator without a Sussy Scylla. For M5, I'd recommend getting the Sussy Scylla. I'd recommend it, but if you're like a person like HS Fearless, you can probably do it without a Sussy Scylla if you have good strategies, such as the Wither Cloak Sword, Florid Zombie Sword, and then a Baby Yeti for clear, and use a level 200 Golden Dragon for the boss. I'd also recommend getting the Gyrokinetic Wand. It's pretty useful for the Master Mode Floor 5 boss fight because of the ability called Gravity Storm. It'll pull in the correct Livid, and you can just shoot him with all your other teammates. For M6, I'd recommend just using 3/4 Necron armor, Terminator, and Golden Dragon. But if you can't survive, if you don't have like max skills, I'd recommend just using the E-Drag. E-Drag is still still better than the Golden Dragon, cause as you can see, the superior perk gives 10% stat boost to all stats, and this includes the crit chance, which Terminator Mega relies on. As you can see, it divides your crit chance by 4, and the E-Drag does boost the crit chance. It's also good for surviving because it does increase your defense. So I'd recommend using 3/4 Necron armor, a Diamond Sedan head, Terminator, and E-Drag. But if you have like max skills, just use the Golden Dragon for more damage. But I'd recommend if you have a Golden Dragon, it has to be level 200, and you have to have a 1 built bank. Because to get its full power, you need to get a 1 built bank. Because as you can see from this, it does rely on the amount. For every 1,000,000 coins, you get 0.2% damage. So if you had a 1 built bank, you'd be getting 200% damage, which is kind of cracked. It's comparable to using the E-Drag, but E-Drag does boost defense and crit chance, which the Terminator and your survivability relies on. I'd also recommend for M6, I'd recommend putting 9 stars on your armor. If you didn't know, you can 9-star armor now. So with these things called the Master Stars, they basically give a 5% stat boost for each star. So if you had for one armor piece that is 9-starred, you'd be getting 20% stat boost from each piece. So if you had a full set of Master Starred armor, you'd be getting a 100% boost while in Master Mode. For the including the Terminator, you'd be getting a 120%. So yeah, that would be the setup to grind Cat at 50, and yeah, alright guys, that's gonna be wrapping up today. And yeah, let me just plug my auction house real quick, bid on my lemons, and enjoy your archer guide. Also, I'd recommend for archer, I'd recommend using for the pets. For early game, I'd recommend using a skeleton pet. For mid game, I'd say like Wither Skeleton for floor 7, and for end game, it's Golden Dragon or E-Drag. So yeah, goodbye.